The first thing as a team leader you have to figure out is, why are they underperforming? Is it a lack of skills? Is it a lack of motivation? Is it a lack of knowledge? Once you figure out what the underperforming underlying reason is, you can address it, but you have to address it. A lot of times investigations are broadened when they shouldn't be. Someone in your team, maybe who has a very dominant personality, can disrupt the team environment, basically give directions that the team leader or the investigation leader for some reason might not want to give. So you have to, as soon as you discover those underperforming issues, they need to be addressed. Keeping them informed is something you're going to do through team meetings. It really depends on the allegation, the size of the investigation, the size of the team, is how often you're going to do this. So informed as a team environment, so when you're going to meet with all your team, could be, if this is a very hot investigation, could be once a day, could be 2 times a week, could be once a week. If this is, depending on what stage of the investigation you're in, the very planning stage, like I said, could be once a day. If you're in the gathering, the review, the analysis stage, it could be once a week, because you have to give time for your investigator or your team members to go out and actually gather information, review it, analyze it, and bring that information back. You can also meet one-on-one to make sure that if you assign tasks to your team members and deadlines, you want to make sure you have checkpoints in between. You don't want to just get to a deadline and go, okay, where's your information? Because if they've had stumbling blocks, and especially in the political environment, sometimes in companies where people don't want to give up information or don't want to give team members access to investigations, then you want to make sure that you can help that member, that team member, get over those stumbling blocks. It can be one-on-one meetings. When you set up tasks in the beginning of your planning phase, you'll have a task list. And so everybody knows what their tasks are. They know what their deadlines are. And so you set meetings in between those deadlines to make sure that they're meeting checkpoints or metrics along the way and make sure they're still on task. The team leader has to be accessible. And I do mean kind of 24/7, because your team members might not all be in the same country. And you have to let your team members know that they can reach out to you, that you can support them if they have any issues or problems. At the same time, if they don't have any issues or problems, or they find something that's relevant, the team leader needs to make sure they communicate. Don't wait until your deadline or your team meeting at the end of the week. Make sure they uplift that information to you immediately. Especially if it's relevant and would take the investigation in a different scope or a different direction. And that's definitely going to happen, especially when you have a team environment, because really in today's economy we have to do more with less, and that's not just for team leaders or managers, that's for all of our employees as well. So very many times you'll get a team member that has not only deadlines for your investigation, but deadlines for their regular job, or what we would call their day job as well. A lot of times, if you can meet with their management beforehand and tell them that they're working an investigation and let them know how important this is and that you're going to pull them for a time, try to set the timeline expectation. I would like to pull them full-time for 4 weeks. Might not be realistic, but make sure you meet with management and let them know that they are going to have a full-time job on this investigation. If that's not realistic and they absolutely have other deadlines they can meet, make sure you remember that when you're assigning tasks. They might need to go on a lighter task, an easier task, something that takes less hours than some of the other team members, because they have a project to finish or a deadline to meet, end of the month reports to do, or something like that for the regular job. But make sure you set those expectations up front.